Mr. Raymond Tweet Williams is a proud 1944 graduate of the historic Booker T. Washington High School. He will be celebrating a milestone anniversary in 2014 along with his classmates. 2014 is a very special year. It will also be the school's 90th anniversary, marking 90 years of educating generations of Washingtonians. Most recently, Mr. Williams helped us celebrate our football team 5-0 run during a pep rally sponsored by the Fox 5 news station. He was a champion and coach in Atlanta Public Schools athletic program at a time when sports and athletics were still segregated. He has said in so many ways.
As a BTW student, Mr. Williams was a star athlete in baseball, football, and basketball. He went to Clark College, which is now known as Clark Atlanta University, and was inducted into Clark College Athletics Hall of Fame. When Turner High School opened, he became head football coach. He had people like Hamilton Holmes to play for him. Hamilton Holmes is famously known for integrating the University of Georgia. Judge Marvin Arrington also played for him. Mr. Williams went on from there to work in administration in Atlanta Public Schools. As a student here, was Booker T. Washington an inspiration to you and others in your class? How so? Did you have to learn many of his famous quotes?
Yes, during those years, we had teachers in the school that really cared about students. And we got our inspiration from many of them because they were dedicated and they made sure that we would focus on what we're supposed to do in the classroom, throughout the school building, and everything. They made sure that we did not play around, as we see some students doing today. We were well-focused students during that time. And we had some quotes that we had to learn. And one of those quotes still available to you. And that is the quotes on the statue that you see out in front of the school, where Booker T. Washington himself is lifting the veil of ignorance off of these black people. And that was surely an inspiration to us because we wanted to really move in the right direction during a segregated time where we did not have our civil rights. Yes, it was an inspiration to us.
At the time you attended BTW, there were many students around the state of Georgia who had to come here because there were no other high schools in that community. Did you know any other students who boarded with people and the hardship they might have encountered?
Yes. We had several students from around the surrounding areas like Newnan, Georgia, McDonald, Georgia, because Booker T. Washington was the only high school in the state. And as you know, it was born, say, in 1924. And to try to educate the young black people in the city of Atlanta. We had students who came in and was housed with some of the teachers that we had on the staff. But the hardship they received is that traveling back and forth to their hometown was one of the pressures they had upon them, which was different from students who lived directly in the area where the school was located. And they usually would go home on the weekend, and they missed out on some of the activities that we had, that the school had planned for them. So they did come here to get an education, but it was not in the same vein as we had received.
Did your education at BTW inspire you in any way in the profession you chose?
I can tell you this, that when I was here at school at Washington, I was inspired by a lot of people. I wanted to become a doctor. And as you know, during those years, we only had 2 medical schools that was located in the country for blacks, and that was Harry and Howard University. And getting in those schools was very difficult. But the inspiration I got was that if I didn't become a doctor, I wanted to be a teacher. And I got that inspiration from the principal of this school, which at that time was C.L. Harper. He was a guy, that type of man that took an interest in all of us, boys and girls. And my inspiration came from him and other teachers in the school, that I had to move along, and if I wanted to be somebody in life and make some kind of contribution to the world today, this is when I chose to go into education.
We understand that you went to school with Dr. MLK Jr. What do you remember about him as a student?
I remember Dr. King in many ways. When we were youngsters, that's before we entered into high school, into elementary school, and he was living on Auburn Avenue, and I know that you are aware of his birthplace. If you haven't visited, you need to do so. Down Auburn Avenue, we had what we call a boys club, which was in the Art Fellow building down on Auburn Avenue. We also had a Butler Street YMCA, which was located on Butler Street. And this is the place where all the youngsters throughout Atlanta had to go to attend the after-school activities, because we didn't have anywhere else to go because of segregation. And that's where we learned how to swim, to play different recreational games. And Mon and his brother, A.D. King, was a part of that group. And Mon was just like any other youngster. But one thing that was unique about him, that he had a lot of sense, a lot of common sense, and he was smart. And as you know, when he attended Washington High School, he skipped 2 grades, and that was the 9th and the 12th grade. And he went on and took the college exam at the age of 15, and this is when he entered Morehouse College. So from my relationship with him at that time was one of very, very, very outstanding, because of the fact that this man was always focused. He was focused as a youngster. He was focused as a young man growing up into this world. And we did not have any idea at that time that he would be in the position that he's in today, that he was in today. And so therefore, yes, he inspired a lot of us. And I was in a classroom with him in American history. They were down on the bottom floor of this building. And he would always be the one to speak up and knew the answers to many of the questions that the teacher asked. He was always out front. And you notice that during his entire life, he's been out front. And it gives you an opportunity to think about that. If you read about his history, you need to think about that, because if you focus in school and you're there trying to get a decent education, you can. And I think that you